This is the perfect moment to play the original soundtrack of Planet Coaster because update 6 is here and it is massive. Over 770 new scenery items, including OnRIDE photos and a lot of different changes. You will find out in today's video. So we're going over everything, apparently. We also look at the new souvenir shops. We are going to look at some other cool stuff, just like the new ride that has been integrated into the game, some of the standard coaster types we have in-game, and I'm going to show you in this wonderful thing, our park over here, some very cool other things I have found that were not communicated, that like completely obvious. It's been in the notes, in the update notes, but it's not been so clear, I should say. But more about that later. So let's first of all start with the big ones, and therefore I'm just going to quickly turn on the wonderful UI over here because we will need it. So we are going to have a look what this means, and in a couple of seconds I will also need to tune down the music, but you know, more about that in a bit. So what I want to show you first of all is that we go into scenery and then we click on the new scenery themes, and we're going to click on the pirate theme and the fairy tale theme, and to the top left you can see 770 new items. The big majority of those comes from the fairy tale theme. This is why I'm just going to quickly go into the fairy tale theme. I haven't built too much yet with it, so this is why I couldn't provide you, because we don't have blueprints, which is a bit of a sad thing, but I do understand that they didn't have the time to completely do this. But I mean, just look at that. I'm just going to drag that all up over here. Look at the amount of pieces. We even get some cool stuff like the topiary, as you can tell over here, which now comes in, everything comes scalable. Not everything. A couple of things are not scalable. Mostly the animated things not, which is not super consistent because some of the animated things can be scaled, some others can't. But as you can see, there are some really cool things. And I gotta say, with the other packs, it may not have been that obvious, but they have massively improved some of the textures specifically of the pieces, and I can show you a couple of those. So this tree over here is one of the biggest improvements, specifically when it comes to the LODs or just in general the level of detail of the leaves and the tree in general. Like you can really tell if you go closer, this is a proper texture now. If you compare that one in the original Planko, it doesn't really look that nice. And if we go over here, you can see this wall texture over here gets a very nice little touch of depth, and the same goes over our slate roofs. A lot more clear, a lot more nice. I think it's just the same textures, but like slightly overhauled. Yeah, what can I say? Apparently this is all kind of you know, flexi color, and it's very, very cool that you can do this. They do have a bit of a different kind of way how you can flexi color the things. Some have a more very obvious way. Some others are a bit more vague. So just like that one over here, the Jerry. The Jester Gold can't be changed, as you can tell, if I click on that one. But there should be another one in here. Let me just see. There's some more, and you've got that one. That is a bronze version, and that is a stone version. And if I remember correctly, one of those should be flexicolor. Is it? No, none of them. As I said, some of them are not, but you get a couple of variants. But some other gold ones. Can I click on gold? Not sure if that one was. Okay, that one either, is it? No. But some other cool things are flexicolor, and they have a bit of a subtle glow to them, which is super, super cool. We also have our knights now back in the game, and we've got some of the very cool Jester Knight, and we can change them, we can make them loop, we can make everything about them. We have a new water wheel, or actually the old water wheel, but there you have it. You can play it again, you can change different things. We've got some very cool fountains. We have back the whole theme. I forgot that we do have a theme that goes into the very Disney-ish fairy tale theme, but we also have some oriental stuff, and we have this kind of rustic thatch roof things, and thank God we can change some of the color, but this time around we can't change the thatch, which is so sad indeed, because in Planet Zoo I remember we've been praising them for finally making a thatch that is flexicolor. Now this isn't, but you know, I'll take that all because it's so good. I mean, just going to show you here a couple of things. in this one. Just gonna change these colors. You can see most of these things are FlexiColor, which is super cool. I'm not sure if this wonderful thing down here is FlexiColor. No. I remember that these were one of the first themes ever we had in the game, and Frontier didn't do that many things FlexiColor. So I can't really tell you. I haven't had the time to go through all of the things, but I did notice that some pieces were now FlexiColor that weren't before, so a couple of those have been changed. Unfortunately, some of these cool stones over here, the cornerstones, I remember I always was sad that they weren't FlexiColor, but you can see that the texture, because the texture on them is so cool. But yeah, it's just in general, I don't really want to complain about this, because in general, having those things is just such a massive improvement to the game. 770 pieces makes a total now of, hold on, we got to check that out, a total of 4,814 pieces. That is massive. This is really crazy. We can also, you know what, we're just gonna quickly check that out. I want to see how many pieces the old themes brought in total, the Western theme as well. 1,316 pieces, which is interesting because that means the two new sets brought in double the amount of pieces, or like way more pieces than the other two themes, which is crazy. And now moving over to my beloved pirate theme, and as I gotta say, the Fairy Tale theme might be the most versatile of all themes we have available in Planet Coaster 2 now, or just in Planet Coaster in general as a game. This wonderful pirate theme is my favorite because it comes with such an amount of great clutter. And yes, they brought back the old stones as well. Here you got them, which is super cool, alongside the new stones we have. Let me quickly show you. Also get rid of the selection. To just show you some of the old stones. Where are the FlexiColor stones? There you go. So we've got these FlexiColor stones, but we also got the old set. So we can actually quickly try to match this piratey kind of color. What is that even? I'll go that way. And what is the other one? Okay, we do have to go into a bit more of a, I don't know. It's very hard to match that color. It's more greenish, isn't it? So it should go a bit more into the green. There you go. And then the other one might need to be a bit more... Ooh, it's, as I said, very hard. Let's say a bit more green indeed. No, we can't really get it that dark, can we? Not really. So, yeah, close enough maybe, but, you know, I could get better if I try more. But as you look at these ones, I mean, as you get closer, the new stones have a way more detailed texture than the old ones. You can clearly tell the difference. So they didn't really brought the whole thing to the new amount of detail. But if you zoom out a little, just for like the murkiness and the way how like a pirate stone should look, that is such a great piece to have, because that clearly looks a bit more artificial than this one looks, and I can definitely tell that I'm going to use this one way more often than I thought before. And we do have our wonderful roofs back, the rich tiled roof, some very kind of Spanish inspired colonialism inspired roofs, like South American style. Oh gosh, it's so cool. I really love that theme. It's so freaking awesome. I really love it. Anyways, we talked a lot about these themes, which I find absolutely gorgeous. And now this texture has been overhauled quite massively, which is very good. I'm not sure what exactly they did. I'm not sure why it glows. That might actually be a little bit of an issue, but in general, I like that one. It gets the wet look for not being wet, but whatever. We do also have our souvenir shops, and I just plopped down a lot of these things, and the souvenir shops now are super simple. You click on them and then you go to link these type of things. If you click on new, the menu will pop up and you will have only all the different souvenir shelves, but you can easily also select ones that you have, and so you go in and say connect existing, then you can see all of them plop up, and once you do that and confirm, they will all be stacked with actual pieces, which is pretty cool. But if you're not happy with the pieces inside, you can just click on one of these shelves and go and customize them. You can say, okay, I don't want to have jigsaws in here, but how about caps or mugs or key rings, for example, which is pretty cool to have. But let's say mugs, for example, and then you can click on which the ones you have. In this one, you can only have 3. But if you say, I want to have the Planet Coaster mug, then you have that one. If you deselect that one, you will have only the other ones activated, which is kind of interesting. It does show you that there is nothing shown, but you can say, I want to have only the Planet Coaster one, and now you only have the Planet coaster mug. And you know what? If you type into your menu now, mug, hold on, you get these all with these wonderful pieces, and you have all the mugs. If you type in jigsaw, well, you know, you can get them. And the reason for that is not only you have these new pieces, but you can also make them lean like as if someone had done this, or if you go, for example, in and say umbrella. Now, you know, you've got a couple of umbrellas. Someone just tried one, and then they just plopped that one wrong inside of here, you know, they kind of merged that in and so placed it like the other way around. So like this, for example, you can get creative yourself, which is super cool. If you type in magazine, for example, okay, the magazine is, or post, oh, it's actually a postcard, I guess it is. Yeah, there you have it. You get all the different postcards. As a postcard stand, an individual item, which is so cool. You can put that on a counter if you want, for example, or even on that box, if you will. So if I place that on the box, look at that. You can just have the souvenir postcard. And I'm not sure what happens if you type in souvenir in general. Ah, yeah, there are a couple of more things. You even get like a souvenir bag. Someone forgot their bag here, you know. This is just like, it is absolutely amazing. Plushies should also be in here. So plush, there you have 3 plushies. I'm a bit sad that they didn't have more of these plushies, but we get these wonderful plushies. I do hope that they keep on doing this with the other themes. I'm very much certain that if there is going to be a DLC, you are going to see them in there. Pretty sure they do. Also t-shirt should be in. Let's type in shirt, for example. There you have the t-shirt. You've got the lying versions, like the folded versions in here, or even those. So you can even hang one on the shelf if you want to. Again, you can get creative if someone has hung that one the wrong way around, for example. You want to do that, and just like people do that, like this, and then just slightly lean that forward, like a stupid person just did it that way. You can just do it, you know, someone just attach that in front of it. So you can really get your own unique touch on it. You've got some pool noodles. I'm wondering if the noodles now are, I guess they're not, because they are a bit weird ones. You actually get the noodle now as an individual piece. Oh my god, that's so funny. You even get them. That is so hilarious. Cap, you will also get the caps, I guess. Is it called base? Hold on. Base? No, I think the caps are not in. Or are they even called caps? Hold on. Yeah, they're caps. Okay, maybe the caps are not. But other than that, it is just so insane that you get all this stuff in here. I couldn't stop praising them for them. And you obviously also have the photo kiosk over here, which is also pretty damn cool. You also get these kind of frames that you can buy, and you can also connect them to rides. But I have an example set up for you. We're going to check this up in a second, because first of all, there's even more to the 2 themes. We also get the fonts, and you can see in here, if I go in, you can see there are a couple of different pirate fonts from the original game, the Pirata and the Unital Antiqua and the Unifracture Magnetia, or however you want to say that. And you also have the Aladdin, which is another wonderful one for the fairy tale. I think that one isn't. This one should also be the fairy tale one. The caviar, the brush, and ribeye might also be, but I'm not entirely sure which ones are the ones. They didn't say that in the change notes, but definitely the Aladdin is one. Norse is definitely the Nordic one. Arbutus, no, they're not. But like definitely the Caveat Brush and Aladdin are new ones. Mochi Pop 1 might also be one of those. I'm not entirely sure, whatever. But yeah, you have them. And what I found also very cool is you get the kiosk, like the photo kiosk, also as an individual housing. I'm not sure if we can peek inside. Yes, we can. This is what I wanted to see, which is so cool. And I'm not sure if these things actually work. And there's like even a printer in here. So what I wanted to try with you guys is if we can connect this to a ride. And I do have a couple of rides in here, and so I'm trying to see if I can connect this to this ride. I'm going to confirm that real quick. We do have someone already in there, but I wanted to just see if this works. So let's hit play, and no path. Okay, well, hold on. I'm just going to connect this to the path real quick. I'm not sure if that helps, I guess. Does this help? Is that enough already? Yes, it is. It doesn't allow me to, but yeah, there you go. It's gonna open up the kiosk, and I'm wondering if these photos are the same as on the coaster. Shame, they're not, but okay. So this is the photo kiosk, and as you know, I'm more of a fan of like these things, you know, these counters, but having this one with a very nicely detailed interior, I gotta like that. I'm not sure if these items, like printer, did we get the printer maybe? No, unfortunately not. But the TVs, they can display all the stuff. Now, I'm going to show you in a second, because before we do this, here's the new ride, the Coriolis 1. And yeah, I like this ride because it's small. It has a relatively small blueprint. It has a very de-themed look, and it's looking very nice. It's a very cool kind of family-friendly ride in a way. So I'm liking that one. I'm really liking that one. It's very, very nice. And last but not least, we also have our two new, actually old coasters, but in the stock variant, which is the Mine Train, as you can see over here. This is the one, and the Big M's water coaster, again as a bit of a de-themed boat. I think the one that I have in here was a bit more of the a bit more mythology kind of styled, I think after Poseidon in Europa Park, but I'm not entirely sure. And that one is this is the potentially the least one I wanted to ever have, because it doesn't really make a difference for me personally, because I would ever have a mine train in front of it, and like these things barely get changed. Like the only big difference is that you do have a kind of coaster without the front lock kind of thing. The locomotive thingy is gone, but like other than that, it's mostly kind of the same train. So I barely think I will ever use this way. Anyways, another lovely little change is that we do have two new very fast and very slow variants of the movement. I still gotta say it's not very slow, but the very ultra slow is now super slow. But we also have an ultra fast now, which really is ultra fast. So that's very cool to have. So you can change a couple of things. I did already change my cranes, so you can see them moving now ultra slow, and that just really makes them work a lot better. Oh, actually, no, they don't. So there you go. There you have ultra slow. I didn't save the file, I guess. This is why. So you can see the difference between those two, and this ultra slow makes really a difference. So you can now go in and say you want to have ultra slow and very slow, so two different new variants. So that is pretty cool. And now let's go into the photo kiosk, as you wanted to have, and the souvenir shop, because I did already build a full shop. It's a bit of a spoiler, you'll see the video soon, but here you have it. Here's the full shop in here. You can see what you can tell and do with these things, and then you have your photo kiosk in here. It is connected to the ride. There's just like an empty ride at the moment, but I think the coaster is open, so maybe the next coaster is already going for a photo. Let's quickly speed up so you can see that it's actually the same, showing you that the photo has been done. So there's the coaster. Is it filled with people? It's not, so it's another empty one. So let's wait until some people are in the train actually. This save file is just like where I just opened the coaster for some testing reasons, so don't mind me, okay? It's definitely something not to focus too much on. But yeah, I really like the fact that you have it. Are there people in here finally? Yes, there are finally people in here. So let's do this real quick. And clunk. There you go. Let's make that slow. Okay, now go down, and you can see there is the photo camera connected to the ride. It's hovering in mid-air. I haven't done the theming to it yet, but now as we play and the coaster comes down, you see the flashlight turns on. And just to show you, these are the people in here. Look at, oh my god, that face is hilarious. Let's see if we can see that on the photos later. And now, photos have been taken. And now let's move back into our wonderful little shop over here. And we should be able to see the people. And there we have our friend with its lovely face. Look at him. Look at him go. Ah, that is so cool. And the last two wagons were indeed empty. So you can see these different ones there. The two ladies in the front, the guy in the background. It's so absolutely amazing. And if we go back and you want to change the angle, it's also super easy. You can just go in to the add-ons and edit the placement. Now you can see the placement is here. You could also move it forth or back if you want. So now the camera goes back a little if you want to. I found my placement actually pretty good. You go and continue. And now there is the empty coaster train that spawns. And now you can actually change also the roll if you want to, which is pretty damn cool. You can change the rotation. If you find it better from this angle, you may do this. And you can then also change the camera distance, go very close or very far away. You know, you can do it that way, and you can also just change it to more lower down, higher up, so how you like, you know. You can also change the axis to world, but it just doesn't really make any difference. And then you can also rotate and roll the camera like this. It's just a roll now, camera roll. If you want to do it this way, why you would do this, I don't know, but it's fine. Confirm the placement, and now it's connected to this one. And the fun bit is the coaster hasn't been closed. The coaster just went further, which is very cool. So that is something to keep in mind. And now the next couple of photos should then also be changed in the angle. We still have the old photos in here because no new train made it through. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I can't even say how incredibly happy I am about this insane update 6. Now, I promised you that there is more to it, and this is where I'm going to mute down the music, or actually pause the music. There you go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the menu of this wonderful game. I'm going to go to audio. Usually I have the audio a bit down, so this is why, but I'm going to increase the music of the game now a little so you guys can actually hear that. So this is going to be very, very good because the sound effects is absolutely something they changed. There is somewhere in the notes about audio, resolved an audio issue and added audio for friction brakes. Not sure they did something, but I noticed that if we go over here into the park, let me just see. I'm not sure where there is no audio right now. Let's see if we can get this solved out. Maybe I need to zoom out. I'm not sure where that was. It's a bit of an odd one because I had, all of a sudden, it just all sounded so much better. But I'm not sure why it doesn't play right now. There was just so much more screaming, so much more atmosphere, and I really like that. So maybe that is just, I'm not sure why this didn't happen for me right now, but let's see. I closed the park down in the meantime, so maybe this is part of the reason why. But we can actually go over here. Yeah, it might be because I closed down all the rides, but the sounds in general have been changed to be so much more natural and so much more nice. I had so much more screams in the background. It just sounds so much more like a theme park, and I remember that a lot of people wanted that. And also Taggy made a great video about this, how some audio could be added to the ride. So maybe I'm just, you know, hallucinating over here or whatever, but I definitely noticed that, and it's so cool that they have worked seemingly on that too. Yeah, I think you can't really tell because there's also not the sound for me right now. It might actually be because I closed down the park. I also have only 5,000 people in the park right now. It used to be 12,000, and it was just so lively. So much was going on, and I'm really happy with how this change affected my experience. Also, it was so good that I even noticed it. Anyways, it didn't work out as I wished it was. But yeah, as you can also tell, there's barely anyone on the coasters right now. Not sure what was happening. Maybe it was because I need some more bins. Anyways, guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this overview. Let me just fly over here to our overview segment. Yeah, what shall I say? This update is so good. Also, as always, you get some career maps again that you can use as sandbox maps if you want to. You can also change certain things, you know, to whatever you like these maps to be. You can play them on challenge mode. It is so good, as always, these things. There's also some issues resolved with some gas. There is some park construction. It's just like, it's so good. Oh yeah, but maybe one of the best things I forgot to show you. Oh my god. Look, if we go over here, we've got 200 pieces and we can create a blueprint. But what is if we've got more pieces? Let me see. Okay, that was maybe the most stupid thing to do, because now we have 10,000 pieces and you can't create a blueprint. But you can now, hopefully this works over here. Let's see if I can have a bit of a better selection. Okay, that still is not too many pieces. I need to see where I have more than 4,000 pieces, maybe here. Oh, 13,000 is maybe not a good idea. I'm just going to check where I have more. Let's see. Oh god, it's so random. Random Rudi, okay, let's see, over here. Maybe here. Okay. 2,000, okay. Yeah, there you go, 4,900, and you can still do this because they have raised the limit to 8,000 pieces, which is so cool, and it's so good that I have done this. So what's also good, and we can also, oh gosh, let me show you. My god, it's so much to tell you. This video took a lot longer than I was expecting because it's so good. Also, I can put on the music again, otherwise it's too boring. There you go. And we're gonna put in glass, and the glass pieces can now scale a lot bigger than before, which is good. They have changed the scaling of the glass pieces as well. Not sure if that was these ones. There you go. But it says in the notes that they increased the scaling values on glass scenery pieces added in update 5 to match other glass pieces in game, which is good, which seemingly goes onto these pieces. Yeah, I remember that they were only to 150 and now you can go to 300 as well, which is good. And there are a couple of wonderful fixes on the UI. I haven't noticed them particularly, but there are also some very good ones. It seems a bit more snappy, a bit more responsive, which is always good. And we are getting there, guys. We are getting there. As a little outro, I'm just gonna fly over here and put myself to the ground and have a lovely little look at these areas. I must admit, guys, that yes, it's still not everything is great. There is still a lot to be fixed. Also, one last thing. I'm sorry that I'm jumping between the different things here, but maybe just to show you. I'm gonna go to heavy rain, and because this is one of the things I'm still not very happy with, so we're gonna go back into the first person camera, and we still, you know, it's still way too nice looking, the weather. It's still way too bright, still way too sunny. I would love this to be changed, but for many other things, they have done a stellar job, and I'm very curious to see what Frontier is pulling when they're doing more updates in the future. They said also in the near future, so we might not be waiting for too long, but you've got a lot more pieces to play around with, a lot more functionality to play around with. You've got so much more during these last months to play with, and I will soon put myself on a challenge to actually play the game like you would play the game, to see how much this is still affected in terms of issues and bugs, because you guys keep on commenting that there is still nothing fixed in that segment. As I'm a creative builder, I can mostly only, you know, just kind of say how I feel from this perspective, and to make it even bigger, I will do this relatively soon. You'll see this video popping up in your feed very soon, and I can't wait to see what we will find out. But the other things I can judge, they have done an amazing job over the past month, and I feel this game is so much more worth being played right now than it used to be before, and they have really brought in a lot of gems into the game now. And yeah, well, thank you so much for watching as always. Let me know in the comments what you think of this update and what you would love to be improved in the future. I can't wait to hear your opinion, and until then, have a good time. And if you want to keep up with this game or other Planet games or Jurassic World Evolution 3 in the future, make sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss out on any news. Also, click the bell, because that, you know, kind of makes sure that you have it in the feed. Other than that, you give YouTube the chance to do whatever YouTube wants, which is not always the best thing to do. However, have a good time. Thank you so much for watching as always, and bye.